Some overnight snow in our northeastern counties ended up at half an inch to an inch. We'll show you the impacts for your commute this morning.
And how about that? Let it snow a little bit. We'll show you photos and videos of this dusting people saw overnight. This picture is from Lewisburg.
Very pretty, just defrosting. And breaking news, fire at this downtown Raleigh bar. This is a live look at the scene where firefighters have been since 3 this morning.
Cell phones in school. The talk's happening today that could change whether your child can use a phone on school property. Glad you're making a call to us right here, 4:30. It's an early wake-up call. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Great to have you with us at 4:30 in the morning. There are several school districts that are on a delayed start because of the potential for slick spots. We'll run down that list for you in just a moment. First, let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at who got snow.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. North and east. It wasn't necessarily Roxborough, but parts of Franklin, Vance, and Warren counties. Back over toward Granville County as well. And then over here toward Roanoke Rapids, Halifax, and Northampton County ended up with just a little bit of snow, half an inch to an inch. So there could be some minor impacts in those areas, and we'll be going over that as we head through the morning. The other big story for everybody is the wind chill. The wind chill is in the white box on the right, so it feels like 22 in Fayetteville, 25 in Durham, 23 South Hill, 21 in Rocky Mount, and we may see those wind chills dip into the teens right about the time that folks are trying to head out the door. Right here is Wilson, and you see the whirligig spinning around. Technically at RDU, wind is at just 5 miles per hour, but it can make a big difference. Right now it is 30 degrees. Let's talk about the roads. This is really only an issue where we had that little bit of dusting of snow, but the road temperatures don't climb above freezing until 10 or 11 o'clock this morning. So something to keep in mind. If you see something that looks wet, it's probably going to be slick, but that will be isolated at best. It is going to be a cold day. Lots and lots of sunshine. High temperatures will be in the low 40s, and it is a cold week ahead. And of course, we're still watching the potential for wintry precipitation over the weekend. I'll show you what we're looking at.
And the WRAL storm tracker was on the road as snow was falling steadily in Nash County. This is what it looked like on US 64 right around 10:15 last night. Maybe you were out and saw this. You can see just how hard that snow was coming down, making the driving conditions just a little bit tricky.
Heads up for parents. Some school systems are delaying start times this morning to give the roads time to thaw. Wake County schools are starting on time today. Some of the biggest school systems that are delayed include Durham, Orange, and Johnston counties. They will all start 2 hours later. For a full list of closings, go to WRAL.com or look at the closings scrolling on the bottom of your screen.
And while we didn't get any snow here in Raleigh, you will notice the frigid wind when you step outside. Those temperatures Laura Levine is experiencing right now live in downtown Raleigh. How are things feeling out there, Laura?
Pretty chilly. Good morning, Jeff. So we got a lot of rain here in Raleigh, and with that rain coupled with the really chilly temperatures, well, that could be a problematic situation for people traveling this morning when you're taking a look at road temperatures using our thermo gun, if we can get it going here. Well, I just checked and it was 25 before you came to me. So that's the current road temperatures we're looking at. And when you have a lot of lingering wet spots, it could cause the temperature here with the temperature to cause it to freeze over. And what you're looking at is a little bit of clear ice that I'm dragging my feet across right now. So that is why we have the school districts, especially at Durham, delaying the start, because when you have people driving on this, obviously you can't see it, right? So it can be a dangerous situation for people traveling. If you are leaving your house this morning, you surely want to be sure to take your time, drive slow, take it easy, because again, this is something that can cause accidents. And of course, we'll continue to track the conditions throughout Raleigh this morning and keep you updated on what we're seeing. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in downtown Raleigh.
And take a look at this snow a viewer shared with us. Melanie Bobbitt took this photo last night in the community of Alert. That's northeast of Lewisburg in Franklin County. And that's not all we saw from that area. Brandy Richards from Lewisburg sent us this photo of snow on her front porch. You can see it covering the cars there in the driveway. And Elizabeth Castaneda sent us this photo from Lewisburg. What a pretty scene as snow covers the front yard of her home.
And we always love to see your weather photos. So if you see snow flurries at your house, just send us a picture. You can go to WRAL.com/weatherwatchers. Your photo may be featured on one of our newscasts by our WRAL weather team.
Breaking news this morning around 3 a.m. A fire broke out at a bar in downtown Raleigh. Crews are at the House of Art on Hargett Street. Nick Perlin is there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Nick, the bar has significant damage.
Yeah, Renee, it's very significant just how severe this fire was, burning up a lot of wood, and firefighters are still here working to put it out. I'm going to step out of the way and show you what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at the wood there. It's badly damaged, and it looks like the windows here were completely shot out by the fire. We even saw smoke rising through the roof here on the second floor of this bar. At this point in time, we're still working with the Raleigh Fire Department to figure out what led to this fire and if anybody was hurt. We know it broke out around 3 here, so not sure if anybody was inside. The bar probably closed at around 2. So we're still working to find out if everyone made it out all right. Of course, we'll have more updates for you later on in the morning as we try to figure out more of what happened here this morning. Live in downtown Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
A person is dead after a hit and run in Cumberland County. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows the large police response on Highway 23 west of I-95 last night. Authorities tell us a person was hit and killed, and the driver drove off. A white truck with several crosses attached to it was seen being towed away from the scene. We're working to learn the name of the person killed.
Today, school leaders in Wake County will weigh how your kids use their cell phones in school, if at all. The school board has been looking at imposing county-wide rules for months. Many schools have already had policies in place governing cell phone use, but students find ways to get around them. The board will be meeting 3:30 today, and they hope to have a policy in place for next school year and are looking for feedback from parents, students, and faculty in the coming months.
A new policy informing you when your child's class has a long-term substitute may soon go into place. The Wake County School Board will be voting on that today. It would require schools to inform parents when a class needs a sub for 2 weeks or more. Right now, there are no requirements for when families should be notified. Parents have told school board members they want that to change.
Water safety concerns a potential link between added fluoride in water and lower IQs in children.
Caught on camera the moment a driver got caught in an avalanche.
And we'll give you this live look in Lewisburg. We told you there was some snow on the ground there. You can see it on the sidewalks there. Slick spots will continue in parts of our viewing area this morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show you the real-time data of those road temperatures out there where you live during the morning commute.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:41, and the commute looks like this. There may be a couple of isolated slick spots north and east of the Triangle area. It's really too early to know. There wasn't a whole lot of snow, but temperatures are cold. If there's anything wet left over from yesterday, there could be just an isolated spot or two. So just look out for anything that looks wet, and it could be slippery. We do have some school delays, and we'll be rolling through those for you all during our newscast and on WRAL.com. And wind chill is going to be something that will affect everyone. It's going to feel like teens and 20s as you're stepping out the door. So keep that in mind as you're sending the kids out to the bus stop in particular. Temperatures right now, Durham, Raleigh, and Fayetteville all in the low 30s. But with a wind chill, it feels colder than that. And we do have some 20s on the map showing up too. Lewisburg, Tarboro, South Hill, Rocky Mount, the wind chill this afternoon in the mid 30s.
And new this morning, check out this video. This was sent to us from Wilson County. That's snow falling right there. Pam Baker sent us this. Thank you so much. She took this in the town of Black Creek last night. It's just outside of Wilson.
We here in Wake County are a little jealous. A new analysis finds a potential link between fluoride in drinking water and lower IQs in children. The JAMA Pediatrics Journal published the study. It was funded by the National Institutes of Health. Researchers analyzed data from outside the U.S. Many in the public health community criticized this research. The authors themselves admit 52 of the 74 studies they looked at were rated as low quality. And the conclusions are based on fluoride levels that are more than double what's recommended for drinking water here in the U.S.
The first American to contract a severe case of bird flu has died. The Louisiana Department of Health confirmed the death of a person who they say was over the age of 65. The patient had an underlying medical condition and was hospitalized after being exposed to a flock of birds. They say the patient had a strain of bird flu that is currently circulating in wild birds and poultry. Health officials say no other humans have contracted the virus after coming in contact with that patient.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, some devastating news out of China. Almost 100 people are dead after a powerful earthquake hit China's 6.8 magnitude earthquake. Look at this video on CNN.com. This shows just how powerful this quake is. You can see people running through what appears to be a toy store or a grocery store, some sort of store, and things just falling into the aisle. They also have some amazing photos here just to show the damage of what this did. It shook buildings and neighboring India as well as Nepal. Southern parts of China, they're frequently hit by these earthquakes. They're used to this, but the damage that we are seeing this morning is just pretty devastating. So they're saying at least 95 people are dead so far. We're going to keep an eye on this, and we'll bring you the latest from the Live Center.
Michelle, thanks. Safety in the French Quarter of New Orleans is under review after that deadly attack on New Year's Day. NBC News learned more about the bollard barriers being installed on Bourbon Street ahead of the Super Bowl. The company that makes them says they are only guaranteed to stop cars going a maximum of 10 miles an hour. New Orleans mayor says she wants a tactical expert to review the city's safety plans.
Renee, security will be extra tight in New Orleans for Mardi Gras this year. The Department of Homeland Security gave New Orleans its highest designation for event security. That means the city will get federal help for its parades and other events. That will include field intelligence teams, bomb detection dogs, and patrols from the air.
President Biden and First Lady Jill visited New Orleans to honor the 14 people killed and the dozens of others injured during that New Year's Day attack. They attended a memorial service last night alongside families of the victims. The president made remarks saying such loss takes a long time to heal.
We know what it's like to lose a piece of our soul. The anger, the emptiness, the black hole that seems to be sucking you into your chest, the sense of loss.
Biden met privately with grieving families. The president also met with first responders. He and the First Lady visited the Bourbon Street Memorial site to pay their respects. The memorial has been growing every day with crosses, artwork, candles, and flowers. A man is in jail this morning after he was arrested for breaking into NC State campus housing and assaulting 3 police officers. NC State police arrested 33-year-old Zachary Watkins. The break-in happened inside Chowan Hall. 2 students were woken up when the fire alarm went off and left the apartment. That's when a man entered, leaving his clothes and knife behind. When police responded, the man threw a fire extinguisher at them before running.
It was crazy. That's something you wouldn't dream of in a million years.
Police used a taser to stop Watkins. He's charged with 5 felonies and is in jail without bond. The police officers had minor injuries.
We're hearing from actress Aubrey Plaza for the first time about the death of her husband. Jeff Baina died Friday. The LA County coroner ruled his death a suicide. In a statement on behalf of the family, Plaza calls it an unimaginable tragedy. She says the family is deeply grateful to everyone who has offered support. Baina and Plaza married in 2021. He was 47 years old. If you or someone you know needs help, you can contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at any time. That number is 988. You can also visit WRAL.com and search Get Help for additional resources in our area.
Heavy snow in Utah led to an avalanche that covered a mountain road. The Utah Department of Transportation actually triggered the avalanche as part of a preventive effort. Snow needed to be cleared after a storm that brought down up to 5 inches of snow an hour. The road below was closed and no one was on it at the time. Pretty stunning video to see. And that's what you do when you have to clear a lot of snow around here we just got a little bit of snow. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. The concern this morning, of course, is that residual moisture, and that could freeze.
Yeah, fortunately, we had a lot of wind overnight last night. That's making for some chilly conditions, but it also really dried a lot of things out. We're not likely to have a lot of widespread problems this morning. There was a little bit of measurable snow, though, up here around Granville County, Vance County, a little bit of Franklin County, and then over here in Halifax and Northampton County, anywhere from a half an inch to an inch. Most of this ended up just on grassy surfaces, on bushes, that sort of thing. But anything that looks wet out there this morning, of course, could be frozen. Temperatures are cold enough for that, but it's just that we won't see a whole lot of it. And that can be the tricky part. You know, everything looks clear, it looks clear, it looks clear, and then there's one teeny tiny little icy patch, and that's what you may see this morning. Our weather watcher, Nicholas Thorpe, is actually an emergency manager, took this photo from White Level, and look at that. You can see that there was snow on the road at that point, and that's over in Nash County, I believe. But of course, a lot of this melted. You know, the ground temperatures are above freezing for the most part, and so a lot of that melted quickly. But of course, temperatures are falling fast out there, so again, just kind of keep an eye out for what's happening. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and send us a photo or two. This camera's been a great one. We're not seeing any problems on the roads, not even on the bridge over there over the Tar River. But this is a look at Lewisburg, and right there on the grass in front of the courthouse, that's where you can see a little bit of snow, and that's really what you'll see across most of the few counties that saw any snow last night. 30 is our temperature. Our dew point is 19. Temperatures are in the 20s all the way until around 10 o'clock this morning. Right now it's 28 in Lewisburg, 26 Henderson, 28 in South Hill, 29 in Wilson and Rocky Mount, 27 in Southern Pines, 29 Irwin, 31 in Clinton. So it's cold start out there this morning. Our hour-by-hour wind chill, we're going to dip down into the teens around 8, 9 o'clock this morning, and the warmest it will feel like all day will be mid-30s later on this afternoon. We do have clear skies, so we do have the tower lit up in blue for the clear skies. And around town this afternoon, it's chilly. Temperatures will be in the low to mid-40s all across the viewing area. The next thing that we watch is the weekend. We're watching another storm track that'll come up out of the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. Likely to see some wintry precipitation Friday night into Saturday for about 12 hours or so. Both of our main models show some sort of wintry precipitation for the area, but our cold air will be limited. So that means that we may not see this as a major event, but definitely an impactful one coming up in about 30 minutes. We're going to walk through some of the scenarios that we could see.
Thanks, Elizabeth. A major media merger, the partnership between Hulu and Fubo that sent stocks skyrocketing.
And a pretty name for a pygmy hippo. We'll tell you the name voters chose for this adorable little girl.
As temperatures drop, cardiologists are warning of the increased risk of heart attacks. WRAL health reporter Grace Haba shares the warning signs you should be watching.
From shoveling snow to respiratory viruses to stress, cardiologists warn several things may increase your risk of winding up in the ER this time of year.
It's multifactorial. We've seen this for decades where we've seen a rise in heart attacks over the winter months.
Cardiologist Nishant Shah with Duke University Medical Center says our blood flow naturally slows down in colder weather, and along with it, our heart rate.
When the blood vessels get a little smaller, we reduce the amount of blood flow that goes to different parts of our heart muscle. When you have lack of blood flow to important parts of your heart, it can lead to injury and damage to those heart muscles. And that's essentially what a heart attack is.
Dr. Shaw shared wintertime sniffles can be far more serious for those with pre-existing conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure or cholesterol, and smokers.
People who are at risk of heart disease or have had prior heart attacks run the risk of having a lot of inflammation in their heart vessels due to respiratory illnesses.
Even caring for your home before or after winter weather can be dangerous.
For instance, if you're shoveling snow, if you're not used to doing that, but you're doing it, you can put a lot of strain on the heart.
Increased stress after the holidays and feelings of isolation or depression can also significantly impact the strain put on your heart.
Some signs your loved one is experiencing a heart attack include sudden chest pain, pain that radiates down your arm or through your jaw, shortness of breath, sweating, nausea, and vomiting. But Dr. Shaw says to remember women in particular may not have these classic symptoms, and things that may seem minor like back pain, abdominal discomfort, even hiccups could all be indicators you should call 911. Grace Haba, WRAL News.
And Dr. Shaw from Duke in that story there says it's also important to learn CPR. The American Heart Association reports CPR can triple someone's chances of survival in some cases of cardiac arrest.
Shares for streaming company Fubo are up this morning. This comes after a merger between the company and Hulu was announced. The deal will create one of the country's largest subscription TV providers, only behind YouTube TV. Under the deal, Disney, which owns Hulu, will own 70% of Fubo, but Fubo's management will be in charge of operations. Fubo will drop its current lawsuit against Venue Sports, the streaming joint venture between Disney, Fox Corporation, and Warner Brothers Discovery. In return, the companies say they will pay Fubo $220 million.
All right, here we go. Baby pygmy hippo born last month at Virginia's Metro Richmond Zoo officially now has a name. This is Poppy. Like her mother, Iris, the calf is also named after a flower. Poppy the pygmy hippo was born at the zoo on December 9th in the zoo's hippo enclosure pool. Pygmy hippos have been endangered since 2016. They are native to West Africa. They're about half the size of common hippos, which can be about the size of a car.
Oh, well, what a cutie. Want to wrap my arms around her, but she looks a little slippery. Speaking of slippery, snow causing slick roads. We will show you new photos of the accumulation like places in Vance County.
Also, a deadly hit and run. We'll show you the scene on a Cumberland County highway.
And a dog napping at a restaurant. How a family was able to find their dog, they say, was stolen.